Hello, my loves. We are coming in hot with an episode around comfort zones, why they may be keeping you complacent, and why, in my humble opinion, your comfort zone is actually going to be your enemy.
Wow. Let's go straight into it, bestie. And I'm going to throw myself under the bus by talking about different times that I have been comfortable with fitness or even just business. And then it takes a bit of self-awareness to be like, oh, okay, if I want something different, I'm going to have to put more effort into this. If I think about, there's been times on my fitness journey where I've kind of just cruised and that's been fine, but you can't just be cruising and then being sad about the fact that, you know, you can't do a chin up when you want to be able to do a chin up, or you're not PBing in the gym anymore. There does come to a point where you can realize, okay, I'm really stagnating here. I'm not growing. And I can either do something about it or I can continue stagnating for the next 12 months. So with fitness, I think that it's really good to have a way to track that you're actually progressing, photos, measurements, strength data, and then you can actually think, okay, cool, I can do something about this. With business, I think like we all go through, if you've got your own business, you go through journeys where there's lots of ups and downs. But I think that if you go through these flatline stages where nothing's happening, I think getting external support can really help. A different point of view can really help, but also and you need to audit yourself. You can't track what you don't know. So I think that tracking and seeing how you're doing and actually treating your business like a business is going to be the thing that actually allows you to make those massive, growth spurts that you're probably wanting.
One of my biggest fears on this earth is being comfortable. Like, actually, it's one of my fears. I don't ever want to live a life where I am just on cruise control. I'm ultimately comfortable. I'm not really pushing myself to do anything, because one of my biggest values is growth. I love challenging myself. I love growing. And when I feel like I'm not growing, and this doesn't need to be in like a business capacity or a fitness capacity, it can purely just be in like my mind. Like, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm evolving, I'm talking to new people. When I don't feel like I'm doing that, I'm like, well, what's the point of being here on this earth? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like as humans, you want to be able to grow. You want to be able to challenge your perspectives, and you want to be able to get outside your comfort zone, because all of the good shit is outside of that comfort zone. All of the experiences, all of the opportunities, all of, the life that you dream of. You're listening to this podcast because you want to do better, you want to be better, you want to build a bigger life, whatever that looks like for you. That is outside that circle, right? And when we think about our comfort zone, very plain and simple, the reason we stay in it is because it is comfortable. It forces you to stay warm and cozy, maybe not face parts of yourself that you don't want to see, maybe have uncomfortable conversations, maybe make hard decisions. And all of that comes with being uncomfortable and growing pains. But I really think when you can look at, when you can audit, I'm going to say the word audit, when you can audit where I'm at currently right now in my comfort zone, is that allowing me to grow or not? Then you can start thinking about, how can I put the steps in place to get outside of my comfort zone, even though it scares the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah, I love that. And I was just doing a little audit of my own life, and I was just thinking that if I look back on every single career or different things in my life, I hit a 24-month mark where I do something for 24 months, like 2 years. I get really good at it because I spend a lot of time like refining that skill, and then I get bored. And I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but in business, it's good because it means I can keep growing, but there's a ceiling when I work for someone else, which is probably why I work for myself now. But I was just reflecting, like, I did my university degree, worked for someone, got a promotion, did that. Okay, that's the ceiling there. And we keep going.
Yeah.
And the reflection I'm having in this is that when you're comfortable and when you're just doing the same thing all of the time, that's fine if you're content with that. But if you are someone who's like getting a lot of fulfillment, like I get a lot of satisfaction about being challenged. I get a lot of satisfaction about problem solving. I find that really rewarding. If you're listening to this and you feel the same way, then you need to keep putting yourself in these situations. And if you think about patterns and habits and cycles, right? If you are always doing stuff that feels safe, doing things that are hard feels harder. So using an example of like, you want to get into the gym or you want to try something new or you want to talk to people outside of your comfort zone, you want to meet new people, the less you try those things, the more resistant you will feel. So one of the best things I think that I've personally done over the years, and I could tell you so many times when I've been shit scared before making a decision, right? But each time I've made a decision, like I quit a job and then I did an interview to get another job, each time I feel really scared. But when you flex that muscle of putting yourself in that situation, realizing that it's okay, like I can back myself, I can feel a bit uncomfortable, AKA out of my comfort zone, but I'm okay. You get better and better at doing that. And like Kate said, on the other side of that comfort zone is opportunity, new friendships, new things arising. And again, maybe your true passion, it's going to come from being okay and with being uncomfortable, one. And two, just putting yourself out there more, because then you'll be able to flex that muscle more and do it more. But if you keep staying in this zone, you're just going to become more and more resistant to trying new things.
Yeah. And I also look at like my life, very reflective, isn't it? I look at my life, my career, whatever you want to say, everything that I've achieved that I'm really, really proud of has come from stepping outside of my comfort zone, right? Like even being on this podcast, like Gemma reached out to me on Instagram. That's how we met. That was probably outside of her comfort zone. I know it was outside of my comfort zone because I was talking about messaging her, but I didn't do it. So we now have this friendship. We now have this podcast. We now have this business together, all from getting outside of our comfort zone. And also another little like concept I want you guys to think about is like everything that you've done up until this point in your life. So if right now you're feeling like a little bit stuck, like you're in your comfort zone, you're just cruising, you're on cruise control like we mentioned before, everything you've done up until this point has been outside your comfort zone. Getting your first job, you didn't know what the hell you were doing walking on that first day. You were probably shitting your pants. Going to uni for the first time, you didn't know what you were signing up to and what you were studying. You probably felt really dumb and that you couldn't do it. It's outside your comfort zone. Going to school for the first time, like whatever the thing is, it's like you've already got all of this evidence that you can move outside your comfort zone. If you're feeling really stuck right now, I encourage you to actually draw on that evidence that you already have, because you're probably going to look at it and go, well, I've done it once before, just in a different capacity. I can do it again. Absolutely.
I think like you've said, and the point that I was saying about like getting out of your comfort zone is so important, but I also just think like building your tolerance to doing things constantly, which
is increasing your capacity. Yeah.
Increase your capacity for this discomfort. If you want more, you want to meet new people, you need to put yourself out there more. You want to try, you want to learn something new. You're going to have to feel that discomfort, and you've got to trust yourself that just like all of those other times when you felt that way, you were fine, you'll be fine again. And I think that's also just what builds your character and allows you to just be able to experience more things. It's just building that tolerance for that discomfort and also just not being afraid to just give things a shot.
Yeah. And I also think like, this is a little random side note, but you can't complain about the results you don't have from the lack of effort that you haven't put in, or the effort that you haven't put in. So same thing goes, like if right now you're like, okay, cool, I have all of these big dreams and goals, but I'm way too shit scared to do it. It's like you then can't complain that you haven't achieved that thing. Like to get anywhere that is bigger and better than what you're currently doing now that you see for yourself is going to require you to actually do something different, which is probably going to be uncomfortable and scary and hard until you learn the skill set and you get better at it.
I just had I want to give the listeners a bit of homework after this, but I just had a thought
Classes
about
in session, girlies.
But I just had a bit of a thought about the very start of my fitness journey. And because I know that someone listening to this is going to take something away from this story, but essentially I was fed up with how I felt. I wanted to change something. So I went to like a boot camp near my house and I did a first class and I like went to the toilet to dry reach and then I signed up for 9 months, right? That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. As far as I'm concerned, that's pretty fucking uncomfortable. Completely out of my comfort zone, wasn't into fitness. Everyone in that room intimidated me. And that decision was the thing that started me getting comfortable. And then I went to a gym. I was shit scared. I had to get Morgan, my best friend from year 9, to come to train at the gym with me because I didn't want to go by myself. Got more comfortable. It's like this continued effort is a thing. So you never know how much one decision is going to completely change. And I don't want to sound dramatic, but your life.
Literally.
So it's just like, you've got to start making those decisions. So my homework for you guys, and Kate, feel free to add on to this, is think about where you're currently coasting at the moment that you want to change. What are you talking about that you want to do, and what are you actually doing about it? So think of one thing you can do this week. You should be listening to this on a Sunday, probably tuned in. What can you do one thing this week that's going to make you a little bit uncomfortable? It's going to put you out of your comfort zone. Let us know in the comments.
I love that. I don't have anything to add to that homework because you nailed it. And that wraps up this episode. You girls know what to do. If you are over on our Spotify, hello, we love you. Don't forget to rate this podcast 5 stars. And if you are a YouTube girly, like, comment, subscribe, and do your homework. Because teacher Miss Thomas over here is going to be checking it. All right?
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.